Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm Barbara Fralinger, and I am the Director of Faculty Development at USA, and I also lead the iLearn um, student development organization. So if you go to ilearn.usa.edu and you see all the professional development opportunities and the success strategies sessions and all of that, that's what we aim to do with iLearn. And this is part of iLearn and the library, obviously, is the Student Journal of Occupational Therapy. So I just kind of want to get an idea of who we have here. So if you could kind of give me a little bit of a background as to what your term is, and what your interest is in doing this, we can start off that way. So anybody who wants to go first, just go ahead.
Hey, hi.
I can go.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, I'm Shakita. They call me Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in term 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a current practicing occupational therapy assistant, but I would
Excellent.
also like to get into this to learn more about the student research and how they are doing with everything.
Excellent. Okay. Who else do we have here? Jordan and Emily and Courtney.
I'm Jordan. I don't know if can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Um okay. I'm a PPOTD student. I'm an occupational therapist. I've got one more semester after this one. So I was just kind of attending to just kind of see what it was about and see if it'd be
Mhm.
something I'd be interested in. So yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Okay.
And I'm Emily, and I'm in my last semester, and I'm also like Jordan, just trying to see if this is something that I might be interested in.
Okay, great. Great. And Courtney?
Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm actually a term one Masters of Occupational Therapy student. I'm just
Mhm.
checking this out. Just wanted to learn more information and see if it's something I might be interested in.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, this is great that we have sort of a variety of people here in terms of where you are in your programs. And that's excellent because what we're trying to do with the journal is obviously it is supposed to be 100% student run with faculty mentorship, obviously, right? But it is in need of a system to consistently kind of bring in and mentor students to be peer reviewers, to also possibly be editors if they choose to, if that's something that they're passionate about. But the peer reviewers, the student peer reviewers, are what we really need right now, and we kind of want to get funnel, build a funnel. And there are things that you can do at every stage of your education. So if you're a first term student, for example, and you want to just come to the monthly meetings and kind of, sit in and learn and be an apprentice to learn about how to do peer review and all of that, that's an option for you. Second term students, the same thing. You can serve as an apprentice. You could possibly serve as an actual peer reviewer. I'm going to go through some of the things like about the journal, and then also what you can do at the different stages of your program and what kind of we're looking for in terms of qualifications for people to serve on this. So it's an excellent way for you to, and I'm telling you because I went straight through school. I got my undergrad, then my master's, and my doctoral degree, and I was, gung ho. And as soon as I got out, it was like, okay, now you need to publish consistently, right? And I was sort of like, oh, well, I didn't really have time to do any of that. While I was getting my education, I was so focused on just getting my degree that it was this whole process. So what is great about this is that this is going to help you as you are going through, learning about the publication process, so that way you can become, somebody who can add to the literature in the field. And if you're working on any projects ever, if you're doing any research, whether it's your capstone project or something, even after that, you can have some publications because you'll learn the process. You'll be able to submit to journals. You'll understand what it takes, how to write it, those kinds of things. So this is a great opportunity, mostly to learn, right? And also to really see what goes into when people review manuscripts and review things. So I'm going to just bring up the slide deck here and let me know if you have any trouble seeing this. Are we good?
Looks good.
All right. Okay. Sometimes it gives me a problem when I try to go full screen. All right. Okay. So the goals of what we want to do here is we want to just go through a little bit about the purpose of the journal, and then describe the roles of the staff of the journal, and recognize the value to the student of being a reviewer, and the support the role of the faculty to advocate for it, support the role of the faculty to recruit students as reviewers. So chances are a faculty member forwarded this to you, and maybe you saw it on the campus TV screens. But we really I also have we have an Instagram page. iLearn has an Instagram page as well, and I put it up there. But we really kind of want to have the best way to kind of get in touch with the students, to kind of build this, like I said, so we can build a funnel in a way of, because the thing is, we don't get that many submissions, and you may get to review one submission a term, if that, but you'll still get to put on your resume that you were served as a reviewer. So that way, so if we get enough peer reviewers, right, on board, it would serve as like an alternation process, to where, you may get a manuscript one term, you may not get one term to review, but you have the whole term to do it, right? So it's sort of like this thing where, and when I talk about manuscript, journal articles can be, it just depends how long they are. I mean, it can be a couple pages, it could be 30 pages, I don't know. It just depends on what it is. But there are guidelines, and you would learn all of that in terms of the submission process, like what is accepted, what's not accepted. So what is this journal? So it was created by our former librarian, Eric Robinson. It was launched in 2019, and it had its first publication in 2020. It's been published by the USA Library, and it's managed and edited by our editorial board, which is comprised of volunteer OT students under the guidance of our university's scholarly communications librarian and the faculty advisors. So the mission of the journal is to provide a venue for students and student practitioners to actively engage in open access research publication, okay, and to participate in the evaluation and the digital publication of quality research. So you'll really get to understand what quality means. So I know, like, a lot of times when we Google things, and even Google Scholar, it's sort of like you have to be able to critically look at research so that you understand what is an actual credible evidence-based statement, right? And I've learned it, just being a researcher myself, like I don't look at things similarly than everybody else, because I don't just see, oh, okay, there's this statistic that says this. I want to then know the processes behind that. I want to know how many people were in that study. I want to know where that research is coming from, and what it was based on, and what the study design was like. So you get to kind of have more of that critical thinking once you've either written or been part of a journal process. Because then you really see, all right, is this kind of something that is credible, really, that I should listen to or not, right? So that's a great part of being with this. The aim of the SJOT is to identify and publish research and analysis articles in OT and related fields that focus on impact, innovation, and effectiveness for practice. So we want to provide a comprehensive research dissemination platform where occupational and rehab professionals can access the most up-to-date research and evidence-based practice. So we accept submissions of student research, scholarly analysis of articles on a range of topics. They publish original works in all methodologies and forms of analysis. So preference is given, obviously, to topics that are grounded in evidence-based practice. So potential article forms include applied research, which can be qualitative or quantitative, case studies, clinical treatment studies, information articles, right? You could just publish something on the methodology that you're going to use to do a study. So, I mean, there's so many ways that you can, and you learn this when you start doing research. You learn that it isn't as overwhelming and scary and intimidating as you think it is once you see all the different places and kinds of things that you can do. And you can break up different projects maybe that you've already worked on. Like I broke up one study I was working on. I got like 3 publications out of it because I published the procedures. I did like a review of, okay, these were the methods that we used in the study. And then I did another thing on when we actually got to the results, right? So I mean, there's just things like that you don't know, and that you only kind of learn by going through the process. And are also other potential article forms are highlighted sections, opinion pieces, letters to the editor, book reviews, featured news, especially on topics of governance, legislation, and advocacy. So this is kind of really interesting that even the faculty did not know when I did this presentation for them the other day, that this is international. Okay, so it's national and international. If you look at these little dots right here, this is readership. Okay, so all over the country as well as other countries, we have readership. So this, your research, if you choose to either ever publish something in this journal, your research is getting read, right? And it's international, and it will only grow as much as the journal grows. And we can only grow the journal if we have people there to sustain it, right? Both with editors and reviewers and people who are actually going to submit to it as well. So here are the different roles. Okay, so we have our editorial board, and what they do is they approve the initial submissions and they oversee the peer review and the publication process. Then we have our student peer reviewers, and again, you may review 1 or 2 submissions per term as assigned by the senior editor, and then you just attend a 1-hour monthly meeting. And even like I said, we get enough peer reviewers. Say we get 2 manuscripts in for a particular term that need to be reviewed. If we have 5 reviewers on board, then it's like, okay, we can reach out to each one and see if who's available to take it for that term. And then that person can review it. And then we would go through, obviously, the process of how to we would train you on how to review. So it's not like you would just be going into it like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You would go through like a little training. It's not long, it's an online training. And then we have our expert peer reviewers, which these are often practicing OTs with expertise in manuscript topics. And it's typically 1 to 2 articles per year that they review. Okay, so this could be our faculty mentor or advisors. There are some OT faculty that were interested in serving as an expert peer reviewer as well. So it's not like you're going to be doing this alone. You're going to be getting mentored throughout the whole process. And then we have our advocates, which are our faculty, obviously, who posted about this. And students, you all can create awareness and talk to your peers about it as well. So here are our current members. So Adam Mills is the librarian who oversees the whole publication process on SOAR, the cataloging, all of that. He does all of the digital work. And then Jennifer Allison, she is the senior editor right now, and she is a student who oversees peer review and publication. And then Megan Sandwith is the managing editor, and she's also a student, and she is a peer reviewer, and she assists in the publication process. So these two actually right now are graduating this term. So that's another reason why we like to have people who are in various terms that are, kind of going through the process of getting trained. So say you want to start out maybe just as an apprentice where you're just coming to monthly meetings and kind of getting a feel and, what is this all about if you're in your first term. Then your second term, maybe you become peer reviewer. And then in your third term, maybe then you start to get trained by one of the editors if that's something that you're interested in doing. If you've served for a while, you've attended meetings, and you're like, okay, yeah, you know what, I think I would like to be an editor and serve on that. So these are our three faculty advisors. We have Dr. Sean Brim, Dr. Christian Laka, and Dr. Stephen Girardi. So Dr. Girardi has actually he serves as a peer reviewer on several journals already, which is cool. So he can kind of guide our students and our other faculty as to the processes. He's a really, really great person to do that. So that's everybody that's on the editorial board. So what are the benefits of your involvement? So you're obviously, like we've been talking about, you'll develop research skills and contribute to lifelong skills for evidence-based practice. You gain real-life experience with requirements for developing valid and reliable studies for publication. This will enhance your resume and your professional development. So as an OT, you're required to have so many professional development hours anyway. So if you serve and you attend a monthly meeting 1 hour for 1 hour, right? That counts. That counts as part of your professional development. And if you're reviewing a manuscript, however many hours that you put towards doing that can count for professional development. So, and then participation also aligns with ACOT standards. So, and if you're I don't know if anybody here is part of the Honor Society, the OT Honor Society. And maybe Dr. Laka or Dr. Brim has talked to you. If you are, I think Dr. Laka is leading the Honor Society, but they were saying that as part of that, I think there's something where you have to do something regarding research, and it might be something with these ACOT standards but you would have to ask them to make sure. So again, here's what you have as options and what the qualifications are. So if you're in your first or second term, you can become an apprentice. You just need to be in good academic standing and just submit, a letter as to why. It doesn't have to be a long letter, but just a letter of interest and indicate that, you want to do this and why you want to do it. And then you can get a letter of recommendation from one of the faculty members. So whoever told you about this would likely give you a recommendation. If you're third term and above, you can become a peer reviewer. So now because we are in need of peer reviewers, if you're in your second term, if we may consider you to be a peer reviewer. I think that they want you to have like one research-based class maybe under your belt. Maybe that's why they kind of want you to at least be in your second term or above. So there is that option there. Third term, you just have to be in good academic standing, get a letter of recommendation, submit your letter of interest, and then once you get accepted into it, then you just complete the peer reviewer training through the Web of Science Academy, and that's on our library webpage. So you don't have to have any prior research experience to do this, but if you do, that's even better, right? So that's becoming a peer reviewer. Now, an editor, you can remain if you decide you want to, if you're really good at writing, if you're like me and you were raised, in a household where English was like everything. So I am always grammatically correct. And if you're one of those people too, then you could be an editor. You would be perfect to be an editor. But it just requires, and you can stay in it as long as you want, and it requires at least one term as a peer reviewer, and you're actively involved in the meetings. You are nominated and elected by the editorial board members at the beginning of the final term of the current editors. Okay, so that would be this term. So if somebody here is in one of your later terms and that's something you're interested in, then obviously you could serve as a peer reviewer now. You could possibly, I mean, you would just need to talk to the current managing editors. Jennifer really handles a lot of that, Jennifer Allison. And she would be the one that you would be emailing and reaching out to, and who would be kind of telling you what the process is, and also if if you were interested in that as well, you could probably serve as a peer reviewer on an article, and then after that maybe start to get trained near the end of the term. So who knows, but it's up to you. So ideally editors will be in different terms to avoid both leaving at the same time, which is what is happening this term. So again, if that's something you're interested in, you can always learn more about it. So how do you join? You just want to go to the journal homepage at soar.usa.edu /SJOT. And then you can also email SJOT for more information or to submit a personal letter and or a letter of reference. So I'll just put both of these in the chat. So, and again, you can help, like I said, you can either join us, come to the meetings, be an advocate, tell other people about it. And if you are an OTD and you conduct research as part of your capstone, you can submit it. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now, like I said, is I'm going to, I'll put the link to both of these so you can in the chat, and then I'll open it up for questions. So that's the link to where you can see, and then you can email. Oops. Here. Okay. So this is where that page takes you to. Right here, you can see all about kind of like what we went through about the journal, the aims and the scope, the editorial board, the policies. You can submit an article here, and this just tells you a little bit about the journal itself as well. But I just wanted to kind of open it up to see now if anybody has questions. And is this something that you think you would be interested in doing, learning more about, coming to a meeting, or even just reaching out to Jennifer maybe and getting some information?
I had a question. So if I'm, in my PPOTD, I have, capstone still. Does that mean I'm like third term? I just didn't know what that meant.
Yeah. I guess you would be you're more towards the end, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
So I'm in my fifth term. How would I approach going to the meetings and stuff?
Well, again, you would just email. You could just have a letter of interest, and you can just say, or you could just email and say, I'd like to attend the monthly meetings. If you just want to learn more. I don't know exactly what, because I don't know what the terms all mean in terms of like, because some of you are flex, some of you are, and it's like, I get confused. So I don't know where exactly you are. Are you residential? Are you?
No, I'm flex. So I'm
Okay.
flex in my 5th term.
So then how many terms then do you have as a flex?
I think we have like 10 or 11.
Oh, so then you could, be a you could start being a peer reviewer and learning the process. So you're going to be here for a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested, like that's the thing, like we really need to get some people on board like as soon as possible. So I'm not sure when the next actual meeting is. I'd have to just talk to Jennifer about that, but just email and at least just get information and get a letter of interest in.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Fralinger, you probably went over this, but who exactly are we supposed to email with interest?
See SJOT in the chat. I put it in.
Oh, okay. Them, okay.
At USA.edu.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Are the monthly meetings, are they at the same time every time, or does that shift through terms, or how does that
No.
work?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. Again, that's another question for Jennifer. If you want to like email her directly, here's her email. USA.edu. Let me just make sure that that's correct for a second here. Let me make sure I spelled her name right. Yeah. So I just put her direct email. So she's the one that so like let's just say if all of you are interested in just getting more information, for example, I can put an email to Jennifer and SJOT. I can do that and then CC all of you in it and just say, these were some of the students that attended. They would either like some information, if you could just connect with them, they would either like more information about the meetings or, the peer review process. They might be interested in any of those. So does that work better?
Yes, that works for me.
Yeah, because like now I'm just kind of thinking like, yeah, that would probably, because that way that it puts you directly in contact with them and then they know like who's interested. So all of you just have USA email addresses, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, great.
Yes.
All right, well, does anybody else have any questions? Does this seem like something that you may want to do?
Yeah, it
Like-
sounds really interesting. Yeah, you did a nice presentation. I think you explained it really well. That's why we don't have very many questions.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, do you think, but I mean, like, I know that you're all so really busy, and that's the thing. It's like, you're like, oh my gosh. But really, honestly, it's a great resume thing to put on your resume that you've been a peer reviewer for a journal. Like that really does build and that adds something. And then it knocks out professional development at the same time. So I'm not sure like all of you need to have so many, right? How many hours do you need to have like throughout your um, education? I think it's like you have to have so many by the time you graduate. Isn't that what it is? Or maybe you didn't know about that.
I this is news to me because I'm a first student.
Oh, geez.
I think you have to have it for continuing ed too. So I don't know. It is good and helpful.
Yeah, it is. And that's what I mean. Like, there's just so many things. And then it opens up, like, if you ever want to go to conferences, if you want to present, if you want to do those things, like, it just opens up a lot of opportunities. Just learning about this and then getting connected with the faculty and working with the faculty like this it really just opens up a lot of opportunities for you, I think. You know, I mean, if I had had that opportunity, I would have learned a lot more about, you know, and I would have been so like devastated when my first journal submission got rejected. I mean, that's like a normal thing apparently, but I'm not good at rejection, but so, but anyway. So yeah, yeah. All right. Well, what I'll do is right now, what I'll do is I'll make sure that all of you are on an email that I send to Jennifer. I'll just send it to the team, let them know that you guys are interested, and then they can reach back out to you. Jennifer will probably promptly reach back out to you, and you know, and give you information on when the meetings are, if it is the same every term, so she can actually answer a lot of those questions. And you can always meet with her one-on-one as well. She's always available to do meetings and things. So,
Yeah,
all right.
sounds
Great. Well, thank you all so much for hopping on. And oh, one more thing, you get a badge for coming tonight. If you go to this link and hold on one second, I'll put the link in the chat, and you fill out the attendance form, you'll get a badge, and this will help you with your professional development. And if you ever want to attend any iLearn sessions, whether you attend a live one, um, you know, whether it's one of the content reviews that we do, or it's success strategies, or it's one of these extra ones that we have, like a speaker that comes in and does a presentation or something. And then you fill out the attendance form, you get a badge, and that counts towards professional development as well. So always keep the badges from anything that you attend, like download it, because you may, you know, one of your professors may say, oh, you have to attend so many iLearn sessions, or you have to do this as part of your class. So that might be happening. Or you could just have it for your portfolio, right? And you can just say that you've attended these sessions, and that's considered to be professional development. Also, if you watch any of the recordings on the iLearn page, so it's iLearn.usa.edu/all videos. This takes you directly to the recordings page. So there's lots of things there on content reviews, academic success. So anytime you watch a recorded session as well, you fill out the form, and then I would email you a badge for doing that as well. So you get, again, and it'll say like how long it was, like an hour, and all that stuff. So lots of opportunities here for you all. All right. Okay, so are we good? We good to go? Everybody got the information? Yeah?
Got it.
All right, great. Well, have a good night. And this, actually, I'll post this recording on iLearn as well. But I will send that email out right away now, and just look for that email from me to Jennifer and the rest of the team. Right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.